In this video, we're going to do the quotient rule, okay? Quotient rule just says you have a fraction, right? Some ratio, and then you have parentheses, and then you have some type of exponent outside of the parentheses. And what do? Well, you're going to distribute the exponent, and that's what you get right here. So how do you do this? Okay, let's say you had something like x over w2, right? Let's say to the third power. How do we do this? Okay, so this has an exponent of 1, so we can multiply there 3 times 1, and we can multiply 3 times 2. So let's do that. So we got x, 3 times 1 is going to be 3, over 3 times 2, right, for the w, which would be 6. And that's pretty straightforward. Another way you can do this is by looking at it, right? I'm going to rewrite it. And you can say to yourself, hey, how many factors of this fraction do I have? I have 3 of them. Okay, fine. So what I can do is I can write out this fraction 3 times. That's what this exponent tells me. And then I can see this. I can see that I have 1, 2, 3 factors of x. And then how many factors of w do I have altogether if I add them all up? That's right, 6, which is the same answer. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's try something like 3w squared over 5x to the power of 2. What's that equal to? Okay, so, you can distribute the 2 to all of these, and you're on your way. I'm going to do it a little bit different, just so that you can see that, maybe something clicks if you're still not getting it. Okay, not to confuse you, but it's just a different way of doing it. Let's say what we're going to do is we're going to separate the top from the bottom. Okay, and I'm still going to use the exponent of 2. This 2, right, is still outside. I just have it on the top and the bottom now. And the factors that don't have exponents, well, there is a 1 there. So you could put a 1 if you want. Okay, this might look a little bit more easier. I can distribute this 2 now to these factors. So 3, right? 1 times 2 is going to be 2. 2 times 2 is 4, so w to the 4th, over 2 times 1 is going to be 2, and don't forget the 5. 1 times 2 for the x, right? The exponent, 1 times 2 is 2. Okay. And then 3 squared, it's going to be 9, w to the 4th, all over 5 squared is 25. And then don't forget the x squared. Okay. So that is another way of doing it. It's a bit weird, perhaps. Maybe extra steps. Easily, you could have gone from here to here by just saying 3 squared is 9, w squared, well, that's going to be w to the 4th, 5 squared is 25, and so forth. And that's not an issue, but sometimes you might need additional steps, and that's fine. Let's try another one. Let's try something a little bit more challenging. Let's say you had 4 d to the 3, right, parentheses, to the second power, all over negative 2c squared. And this one has a power of 3. Looks like one of those problems in the test. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to put a 1 on here, and I'm going to put a 1 here so I can remember. I'm going to distribute this 2 to the other exponents. So 1 times 2 is going to be 2, and 4 squared is 16, okay? Right? And if you don't like that, right, 1 times 2 is going to be 2, right? But don't forget the 4. 2 times 3 is going to give you what? 6, right? That's for D. And the bottom, 3 times 1, so negative 2, right? 1 times 3 is 3. And then 2 times 3 is going to give you 6 for C. Don't forget this negative is floating around. All right, so 4 squared is really 16, D to the 6, all over. This negative, I'm going to leave here. And then 2 to the third power, right? So 2 to the third power really is 2 times 2 times 2. I have 3 factors of 2. Oops, this should be a 2, sorry. Okay, there we go. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Okay, that's going to be 8. And then C to the 6. Great. And now we can see that 8 will go into 16 2 times. The negative is still there. So this is going to give you 2D to the 6 over C to the 6. And we can put the negative here if we want, as long as it's on the top, in the middle, or the bottom. Okay. So the idea here is that you're going to basically have a fraction. You might want to separate the fraction into 2 pieces so you can see it clearly, right? How the exponent is distributing itself. And then you're on your way to doing, figuring out the answer.